are back from the break, and our sponsors there. So this is the IRS Radio Hour, and I am Attorney Stephen Leahy, and we're here with the group, right?
That's right.
Jim Leahy and Deborah Schreiner. And we're here to inform and entertain as little as we can. More information than entertainment, I think. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, it depends on how people perceive that information and take it in, you know.
I guess that's
so. If you listeners are out there, go to Facebook.com, go to YouTube. You can watch prior videos, or you can go to ChicagoTaxTeam.com, or call Open Tax Resolution 312-664-6649. If you have a question, we'll answer it. Or if you have any other, if we're not giving the information to you that you'd like, or present it the way. Give us some feedback. We'll make sure that you get that information.
So Bill Veck, what time is the game today? What time can you make it? We'll customize the show for you.
That's right.
Well, let's do the next segment.
Well, I was just gonna. Could you customize it and do a segment on puppies?
Puppy, I have a puppy.
Yes, and ice cream. The ice cream.
Alex Jones. It's the blog segment. The blog.
That's a funny bit.
I do like that.
I do too.
It is so true, though, what he says about Warren Buffett, you know.
You know, everything Alex Jones says is not a conspiracy. Everything.
A lot of things he says, though, is just so ridiculous.
There was that Joe Rogan when he got him to smoke the reefer on there. He started talking about.
I couldn't believe it.
He started talking about the aliens.
And then interdimensional wars, and you're like, what?
It was totally legal. Okay, so anyway, I thought that was weird. But anyway, we're going to talk about something.
Legal in California, not federally.
I agree. And we talked a lot about that on this show. I talked about the tax the tax implications of the marijuana laws. And there's a lot of them because I don't know if people understand this, but it's still against the law federally, and they can't bank. They can't take money from sales.
Yeah, that's
of
a problem with a lot of
the
dispensaries here too in Illinois.
There's a I don't want to talk about that right now because this is my blog segment, and I wanted to talk about what I usually talk about on the blog segment is a case that I've had just recently, and it's a very good demonstration of what happens. So we talked about cascading tax problems.
That's right. We've talked about it before.
This is an example of that cascading tax problem and how it can sometimes be solved. But you got to be, and this is really the key, right, is that you have to take a look. Everybody's situation is different. And I think the big box outfits, or you get to hear, oh, you pay pennies on a dollar. You know, they don't even know what your problem is, and they're telling you how to solve it. And let me tell you this. You have to know what the problem is before you can solve it. You got to know where you are before you can get where you want to go, right? Otherwise, you can't get there, right? You can't draw a map. So this is a good example because she's an older lady. She's in her 80s. And she came to see me because the IRS started garnishing or levying her pensions, started taking a big chunk of money from her. And she could not understand why. Why is this happening to me? Here? Because she said, I worked out some sort of an agreement with them last year, and I don't understand why they started taking money from me. And here's why. She's, as I mentioned, she's in her 80s, so she's got 3 pensions from 3 different organizations, and she's making $65,000, $70,000 a year on pensions. Pretty good pension, I think. Okay, pretty good pension, and but they're 3 separate pensions, so each one doesn't know of the other, and so they're taxing her like that's her only income. So they were taxing her about 8% of her money, 8.5% was coming out as for federal taxes. Well, at the end of every year, when she would file her taxes, and she always filed her taxes on time, they weren't taking enough money out to pay the taxes. So she would file her return. She owed about $2,500 to $3,000. This went on for 6, 7, 8 years. Finally, the IRS starts sending her stuff. Hey, you know, we're starting to collect. We're going to start levying your pensions, and we're going to freeze your bank accounts. We're going to take all your money. We're going to come after you. And she owns a home. And they're going to put a lien on her home and we're going to start coming after you. So she worked out an agreement with them, and she was paying whatever it was, $65 a month or something like that. They had gone through her. This is what they had agreed to. But the next year came, And she, again, filed her tax return. And again, there wasn't enough money taken out of her checks to pay the full amount of her taxes. And so she owed taxes again in April. Well, as we talk on this show a lot, is the big whenever you come up with kind of any agreement to solve your IRS problems, the IRS talks about compliance. You've got to stay in compliance. And compliance means filing your tax return on time and paying your taxes on time. Well, the next year came, she filed on time, she owed money, and she didn't pay it. So now she's in default of that agreement that she had, and they canceled the agreement. And that's why they started levying her paycheck or her pension check. Okay, so that's why she came to see me. What is going on? She could not figure it out, why they kept doing this to me and what she can do to.
And she's just a regular citizen, no problem.
Exactly, and she was just baffled by this. What can I do? So she came to see me, and we. So I looked at the situation, found out what is going on, right? That these pensions are not taking enough money out of her check to pay her. Now, this is what would happen. If I fix the problem today, she's going to owe, we're coming to the end of the year. So for her to catch up with those taxes would probably cost her $3,000 or $4,000, which is more than $1,000 a month now going forward. Well, she can't. They're already taken $200 out of her check. Another $1,000. She couldn't do it. She couldn't pay her bills and everything for another $1,000. So what do? Right? So here's what we did. I contacted the IRS and I explained to the IRS what was going on, and I got a very nice person on the other end. And sometimes you do.
They're people too.
They thought it was a sad story that this woman, an older woman, that this was happening to her. So we agreed to continue to extend her deadline 120 days. And what that does is, first, she's out of collections temporarily, so they're going to stop the levy against her. So they're not going to take her money out of her pensions anymore. And then that 120 days will push us until next year. And so next year, I can, in the meantime, I'm going to change all of the deductions from her pensions. So they're taking out 18 to 19% of each one. And so that'll cover her taxes every year.
Oh.
So if we were to solve it today, and then of course next year she's going to be in.
How amazing is that? How amazing is that, though, to have that kind of support system?
Exactly.
Having that's the biggest part about this, is having a support system. You don't have to do this alone, ladies and gentlemen. The best part is to have somebody there walking you through
and
this process.
At your particular situation and coming up with a good solution to your particular situation, because everybody's different.
You did that commercial. You had such a thick Chicago accent. Let me help you with your particular situation.
I don't know if you know this, but I am from Chicago. Anyway, this is what happened with her. It's not solved yet, but we have a plan to solve it. Sometimes the best way to solve it is to kick the can down the road, because we want to solve next year after January, we'll do her tax returns for her. We'll find out what she owes for this year. We'll roll that into a new agreement, and then we'll have enough. Again, they'll be taking more money out, so the next year she'll have paid, and she will have solved this cascading tax problem. And so but every case is
could she have done that alone? Probably not.
She didn't even understand what was going on. So
that's the thing.
And I wanted to talk about the IRS and their system and how hard it is to call, and they changed their website now. And remember when Obama's crowd tried to come up with a website, they spent $1 billion and it didn't work. Well, that's pretty much is what's going on with the IRS's website. They're trying to put everybody onto this. Don't call anymore. Go to the website. It's all on the website. And now they redid the website, and now the website doesn't work.
Well, anyway, if you have questions, remember, ladies and gentlemen, OPM Tax Resolution is there for you. 312-664-6649, or visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. That's going to be your hub to fight the IRS. watch previous episodes, get in contact with attorney Stephen Leahy. It's a great tool to help you get back on track for financial success and get out of your cascading tax issues. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, open tax resolution 312-664-6649. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let the music of Perry Mason take you away into the commercial break, but stay tuned because more IRS Radio Hour coming at you here on AM 560, The Answer.